Grant Strum again, back with BASF Innovations in the Field. Wanted to talk to you a little bit today about our nitrogen program and how the weather has affected what our plans are for this year and where we're going to go from here. It's been extremely warm and wet, as I stated in previous videos. Warm and wet is pretty much, it's scientifically proven you're going to be losing nitrogen. It's a big concern around here what we're going to do. If there's guys that couldn't get side dressing done, or trying to maybe even looking to possibly have to do some rescue treatments. The corn right now is not suffering, but we know there's a lot of nitrogen uptake yet to take place as this corn reaches V10 stage and on from here on out. Typically we have most of our nitrogen down, or part of our nitrogen down ahead of the planter. Some situations we'll have 150 units down before the planter even crosses the field. Other situations we'll have as little as 45 or to 80 units down, depending on the rotation and the tillage practice. Something we did a little different this year, we've done some side dressing, about a third of our corn over the top with anhydrous ammonia. Typically most of that corn was anywhere from about a V3 collar to 4 collar stage. Some we did a little earlier, knowing the wet weather that was on the horizon. This year we invested in a set of Y drops for our sprayer, as you can see behind me, and I'm also holding one here. I'll show you in a little bit. But this is the purpose of this is try to go in there between V8 and V10 on corn and add a supplemental nitrogen pass, or possibly a rescue type treatment for some areas that we've maybe had trouble or that maybe test lower in nitrogen. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to make it out in the field with this unit yet. We've had 2.5 weeks of continued wet, muddy weather, and we're probably still 4 or 5 days away from even having a chance to get out into these fields to make this nitrogen pass. The plan pass is to go in with about anywhere from 45 to possibly up to 80 units of nitrogen, depending on the field and the situation and the rotation. And we hope to begin that as soon as possible as it dries up. We do have some corn that's already approaching the V10 stage, and it's going to be difficult to get over. We do have a high clearance sprayer, but it's not a type of sprayer that you go over tasseled corn with. Typically about 6 to maybe 6.5 foot tall corn is kind of where we try to draw the line on getting that done. So what we're going to be doing this year is using the 360 yield Y drop, which I'm sure many of you have seen advertised. The object is to go down between the corn rows and with these rubber hydraulic hoses, place nitrogen in the form of 32% within 3 inches of the row. And at that point, it takes very little water to uptake that and get it into the root zone. A heavy dew or a light rain can, which we haven't had a problem getting into those types of things lately, will get that the nutrient right where it needs to be in that corn row. So that's a couple of things we're trying to do this year to, as we know there's going to be a nitrogen deficiency problem as we get farther on in the year. We've done a lot of side dressing, but even at this point we're worried about what that early side dress availability is going to be. At this point I'd say there's going to be no difference really between pre-plant nitrogen and post-planting nitrogen in the early stages, but this month of June has really thrown pretty hot iron into the fire on what we're going to have to deal with here going forward. So hopefully you're taking into account the possibility of high nitrogen loss in a lot of your fields, especially your wetter fields. With this warm, wet weather we've had, and you're taking the proper steps to try to figure out the ways you can add nitrogen late season to try to help boost the corn crop through the end.